All right, can you hear me? All right, if you have a camera, so you can turn it on.
Yes, we can.
All right. All right, so thank you all for joining this week. So very quickly, what all did we talk about last week? Or what did you review last week?
The global dimensions of the supply chain.
What are those and why are they important?
They're like kind of like how everything flows within the global supply chain. How one act on the other side of the globe might affect the supply chain over here. Decisions like not sharing data, or if you don't share your data, you might be affecting the output on one end of the supply chain without even knowing it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Excellent. Appreciate that. What else?
We also talked about like how international logistics changed over the years, and one of the main reasons was like contingency planning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about contingency planning?
Like I think I think they were trying to like balance every country's like supply chain, because like you know how, since like for example like China closed, and then when like the supply chain of China closed down, then US opened back up, and then when US closed down, like it was a
Yes.
whole impact through the supply chain
Yeah,
because of the pandemic.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about logistics today. Anything else? Anything else before we get started? Okay. Give me 2 minutes. I'm trying to activate everything. So this week we're going to talk about logistics within supply chain management. But going back to what we briefly talked about, why is one, what is logistics? And two, why is it important? So we were introduced to this last week. Anybody?
I would say it's like a
Well,
system of operations. You know what I mean? There's like a bunch of people and facilities you have to manage. And that's really important considering logistics.
What do you mean a system of people? Because you
Um,
have your own something here.
So it's like a hierarchy, basically. You have to worry about transportation to a certain facility, the workers inside of that facility, and then transportation to the next one. So it's all a complex chain.
Yep. And it's a complex chain in a perfect world, right? That's the beauty of supply chain management, and that's what we've seen. That's what we've seen early on, where we have all of these different players within supply chain management. And I always go back to the example of Amazon, and if you look at the PPE, and if you look at the situation, I would say, that we had in the US, like back in January, we sent all of our PPE to China because they were impacted by the pandemic. So then fast forward to March, now we have a shortage of PPE because we sent it all to China. And now we're unable to find any kind of PPE for our people within the US because we gave it to China, and now we're trying to get China to manufacture the same exact products we shipped over there. So that's the logistical nightmare that we had last year around this exact same time. So if we look at the logistics perspective, why did we have a shortage of toilet tissue last year?
Because people kept buying up the toilet paper and hoarding it.
Mm-hmm. That's the situation I thought you were going to overlook, and that's exactly right. Right.
People were hoarding it up because they thought that they know how long the lockdown was going to last and if they would be able to go back into stores to get any.
Right. Yeah, it's the same exact concept like whenever a snowstorm is going to come. It's the same exact concept whenever a hurricane is coming and things like that. You know, we stock up, we hoard, and that's just human nature. So from a logistical perspective, there's been a lot of lessons learned, you know, from a logistics standpoint, from an international logistics standpoint with the pandemic, in that we've become more proactive, because for years we were reactive. You know, if you've heard of that term lean, you know, lean is whenever we're going to react to a particular situation. But now we're able to, we see that we have to be more proactive than reactive. You have to have a blend, if you will. Okay. So that you're going to see more of that from a logistics perspective. But again, you know, you have organizations like Amazon that have that, like I said before, I'll probably say it every single week, Amazon saved the world during the pandemic, but it's because of their logistical infrastructure that they've created. You know, the trucks and the partnerships that they've made. You know, in some parts of the world, Amazon has, you know, they have vans. In other parts of the world, they'll use FedEx and UPS. In some parts of the world, they'll actually, you know, lease out services. So Amazon has like a DoorDash type model, whether you knew that or not. You know, some people may know that, you know, where individuals can be contracted with Amazon to deliver goods. So, for example, I just seen an enterprise rental car truck come through my neighborhood like 2 days ago. They were delivering Amazon packages because Amazon contracted out to a third party to deliver packages. So they see savings. So they see that, you know, if you have that make versus buy approach, then Amazon seeing that it was more cost effective for them to outsource out those services for individuals and for the trucks than it was for them to hire someone as an Amazon employee and to have that Amazon employee ship out of Amazon trucks. Right. So you're going to see more of that. You're going to see more of that because the entire landscape is changing within the industry. Because we've had the transition, and I'll be the first person to say that, you know, I used to hate that term, the new normal, but I mean, that's essentially what we're moving into, where we're going into or individuals working from home, individuals having to communicate via Zoom, exactly like what we're doing right now. You know, we have to communicate and collaborate via video, exactly what we're doing right now. So, you know, we have to make our adjustments, and also from a supply chain perspective, we have to do the exact same thing. And because of that, you're going to see an emergence in technology, and emergence in collaboration and communication tools to operate and remain competitive within this type of environment. Any questions, any comments on that?
I would say Amazon is definitely changing and expanding, because like I was talking with a friend the other day, and we were saying like we noticed that Amazon went from having like other people deliver like other companies deliver their packages like the UPS or FedEx, and now like they have their own Amazon delivery service.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that
Doesn't like, oh, I'm sorry. Doesn't like Amazon like they like created that delivery service so like they cut out that middleman of like having to like send their packages to like distributing companies like UPS and USPS.
yes, but you see what happens with growth and scale. Because Amazon does not, they don't have the infrastructure to essentially, you know, handle all of that shipping right now. And another thing is that for FedEx and UPS, Amazon just purchased a whole fleet of aircraft. So a lot of the revenue from FedEx and UPS came from shipping air freighting Amazon's packages. But now Amazon bought some 747s.
So that's them just like taking it into their own hands.
Exactly. And that's going to be in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion, that's going to be a massive hit on FedEx and UPS in terms of their stock price. I think they were impacted just on the news itself, where Amazon didn't say a single thing about taking over FedEx and UPS, but why are they buying planes? Right? So, and again, that's their strategy. It's going to take them a long time to recoup, the billions of dollars it's going to take to purchase a plane and to have store that plane in hangars and the pilots and all those costs that go into there. That's a lot of money. Why not continue to pay FedEx and UPS to ship those, to air freight those products, right? But Amazon looked at their strategy. They looked at their growth. They looked at their strategy and said, okay, it's going to be more cost effective for us to buy our own planes and deliver our own packages. So that's the impact of logistics, and that's where their supply chain strategy comes into play, right? Was there another question that came through? I think somebody else said something after Tyler.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you think that like Amazon will like one day buy out like UPS or FedEx?
I had this discussion about a year ago where someone asked, do you think Amazon would buy Walmart? I don't think the government would allow it, to be honest. I think the same holds true with FedEx and UPS. I don't think the government would allow Amazon to buy out. I don't think the government would allow Amazon to buy out FedEx and UPS. But again, that's just my thought. Do you understand the type of monopoly that would create? No one would be able to touch that market. So I mean, there's regulations in place for that, for things like that, for a reason. Could they buy them? Yes. Yes. But again, I don't think that. All right, first question, could they buy them? Yes. Second question, would it make sense? Yes. Yes, it would make absolute sense. Right? But that type of monopoly, I don't think would get passed. I don't think it would be allowed, to be honest. That would be like, in my opinion, yes, you see Amazon as a e-commerce website, right? But in my view, they became successful through logistics and supply chain management. So I don't see Amazon as that. I see Amazon as the greatest logistical powerhouse in the world. With a marketplace to sell products, to kind of address to amplify their competitive advantage. If that makes sense. That probably did not make sense, but work with me here. But could you imagine if Amazon bought Walmart? What would that look like?
That'd be scary.
Nobody, no, there would be no mom and pop, there would be no entrepreneurial organization in the world that could touch it. Do you understand? Because look at how many small and medium organizations just in your communities, just think from the time that you were like 10 years old, think about how many companies shut down in your community. It's due to Walmart, it's due to Amazon. So if Amazon and Walmart joined forces, that would be all it was. That would be all it would. That would be all it was. In my opinion, small and medium businesses would go away. What would be the need? What would be the need? When I can just hop on my phone, 2 clicks, I can get exactly what I want for a fraction of the price than what that person down the street selling it for. Right? And then if Amazon acquired the top logistical companies in the world, everybody in the US will be working for Amazon. Think about it. You would be somehow directly linked to Amazon if they acquired FedEx, UPS, and Walmart. You know, and now that you ask that question, that is scary. That is scary. It's scary because it could happen. They have the capital to do that. You know, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to this is one thing for you all. At the end of the day, this all comes down to technology. How did they grow to be one of the largest organizations in the world? Technology. You know, like I said, they started with e-commerce, and then they leverage machine learning and artificial intelligence to provide you suggestions of products that you want before you knew you wanted them. Right? And that's what made them so successful. You know, and then they also leverage, they took that technology and optimized their supply chains. You know, so it's all the things that we talk about in this class that made Amazon successful. Any other questions?
Yeah, now that we're on the topic of Amazon, do you know why Bezos is stepping down, and what do you think the reason for that is? I don't really see why he would.
If you're the world's richest man, well, second richest man, Elon's first. If you're the world's second most richest person, why would you be bothered with the headache?
That's fair, I guess. I don't really look at it like that. You know what I mean? The only way to go is up, in my opinion. But
He started Amazon in what time? When did he start Amazon? I mean, you all know more than I do, probably.
he started as like a
98,
virtual
99,
bookstore.
right?
Yeah, it was like right at the onset of the internet, probably like late 80s, early 90s.
Just
Early
looked it up,
90s?
94.
94.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 94. So he's building the largest organization since 94. He's a trillionaire. How much is he worth? Where's my Googlers at?
1.93 billion.
Yeah. So I'm a billionaire. Why am I going to concern myself with this headache day in, day out? Because I'm one of the world's largest organizations, people's coming for me daily. Why do I concern myself with that? Right? You start companies to make them successful. You start companies to make them profitable. Right? Then you leave your legacy. He left his legacy years ago. Right? Look at Bill Gates. Look at Steve Jobs. They left a legacy. They stepped down. They let others run the company. Now I almost guarantee you he's gonna be on phone calls every single day. I guarantee you that. But he's not going to concern himself with all the daily ins and outs of the organization. Now, I also will say that there's a lot of things that even I can't mention that are coming out. So he's stepping down. Put it this way. He's stepping down as a figurehead, right? He's probably been removed from the day-to-day operations for years, right? He was just the face of the company, you know. So whenever he steps down from this figurehead position, right? I don't think that his role is going to change that much, to be honest. The activities he's doing now is probably not going to change as much because he's probably removed himself from the day-to-day years ago and is still continuing to develop the future state vision of the organization. And as you see, as I mentioned earlier, they just bought a whole fleet of planes. You think Bezos is going to just hand that over to the new CEO? No. He's still going to be a part of that. You know, so answer your question, he stepped down from the figurehead position. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. He probably still owns most of the stock, to be honest with you.
Oh, absolutely he does. His wife gave away half of it, which I commend her for. But yeah, he's set for life. He's set for his children are set. Any other questions? I mean, there's 40 people on here. I gotta have some questions. I'm trying to get this thing sent out. Let's see here. Anything else? All right. So there's a few things that are coming up this week. So on Wednesday, I am actually doing a LinkedIn Live interview at noon. Yeah, at noon. And I just posted an announcement where if you sign up for that, I sent the link. If you sign up for that, you'll get extra credit. And then also there is, go ahead.
What time is it at? Because I have work on that day, so.
Noon Eastern.
What?
12 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday.
What's that equivalent to?
Excuse me?
Wait, 12 Eastern. Okay, give me a
Are you on Central?
No.
Or Mountain Time?
Give me a sec. Let me see if that's the same. Oh, that's just 12 p.m. Okay. Oh, I won't be able to.
Yeah, that's fine.
I won't be able to be there because I still have work during that time.
Okay. Yeah. So there will be a recording. You can just review the recording and you'll be good. Okay.
Okay. We have it in announcements on Canvas.
Yes, it's just posted right now.
Okay.
Yep, it was just posted. All right. Let's see here. All right. So yeah, so now those should be the announcements, and also one of the CEO of an organization that's based in China reached out to me, and she's actually looking for brand ambassadors to promote a conference that she's putting on. There's some very big names, from very big names within the fashion industry as well as in the marketing industry, just going to present at that conference. So if you are interested in contributing, if you are a fan of fashion, I also posted that. Oh man. I also posted that within the class just now. So if I go to the announcements, so it's fashion tech extra credit. So that's the one that the CEO asked me to submit. So if you go fill us out, send me. So I'm going to create an assignment where you can just put a note within the assignment and say I did it, and then I'll give you extra credit for it. Okay. So that's that extra credit for the fashion tech to be an ambassador. And then also, like I said, LinkedIn Live. So if you go in here, here's the link. And that is the link that you would sign up within that LinkedIn Live session. And I am going to create assignments for this. Now. All right. So that, and then that's going to be due on Sunday. And so make sure I have points. Make sure you can upload. Give me a second. Points. All right. So yeah, I'll resolve that later. So that's that one. And then again, if you sign up for the fashion tech, I will create an assignment for that as well. All right. So any questions on that? All right. So going back to our discussion on logistics, modules. So going back to our discussion on logistics, when we talk about warehousing, when we talked about Amazon, but we haven't talked about, we talked about Amazon from a logistics perspective, from a transportation perspective, but we haven't talked about Amazon from a distribution center or a warehousing perspective. So what is your definition of a warehouse or distribution center, and why is the discussion of Amazon still applicable when we start talking about warehousing and distribution centers? Anyone know? Does anyone have an Amazon distribution center close to where they live?
I think I do, but I'm not sure if it's Amazon precisely. But I think it's a UPS maybe. I don't know, but it's a distribution center. I know that.
Okay. Yeah. So, so a distribution center is is essentially a very large facility that stores a lot of inventory. Okay. So again, going back to the pandemic, Amazon was storing a lot of hand sanitizer. It was storing a lot of masks. It was storing a lot of gloves. It was storing a lot of these materials that everybody in the country needed, in addition to the normal materials that people needed, right? The bedding, the hats, the Beats headphones, the Apple iChargers, anything you can think of under the sun, they're in these distribution centers, right? So if you think of everything that you've ordered over the last year from Amazon and how quickly, how it pretty much arrived at your doorstep the next day, that concept is mind-blowing, right? So it's pretty much like at the click of a button, I can get this any product that I want the next day. And Amazon's able to do that with their distribution center network. So there's no possible way that Amazon can have literally hundreds of thousands of items in one distribution center that's at your house, right? Now, Amazon has developed a network of distribution centers where you have an Amazon DC probably about within a 2 hour radius of your house, because they've strategically built them that way. And you may have a couple of distribution centers about within a 3 mile radius of your house. So if you order a product, Amazon is able to leverage technology based on your zip code, and Amazon can look at all their distribution centers within the US and say, okay, based on this person's zip code, I can get this one product to hit to him or her on this day, right? Or within this number of hours, for example. So if you have Amazon Prime, you'll say, if you order this within the next 10 minutes, it'll be here the next day, right? But they look at technology, they base it on your zip code, and then they look to say, okay, what distribution center, what warehouse is this product that this person wants at? And that's how you're able to understand how you can get every single product in your cart at that given point in time by one click of a button. Beautiful thing. But the only way in which they're able to do that is to create that network, to create those warehouses, and to understand what items to store within those warehouses. And to also understand how long is it going to take once Julianne hits that send button, or hits that pay button, or hits that buy button, right? See, look, she hit it, Julianne, boom. Now Amazon says, okay, now we have to get to work. Julianne is expecting these 10 items by tomorrow by 4 o'clock, right? So all this technology is cranking behind the scenes. And now the workers at Amazon have to, based on what distribution center her products are at, they may even come from different distribution centers. But you know what? All that matters is those products better be at her house by 4 o'clock tomorrow, or Julianne's gonna be very upset, right? I pay my Amazon Prime for a reason. I pay my little $20 for a reason a month. I want my products when I want them the next day, right? But multiply that $20 by millions of people in the US. And that's how it's cost effective for Amazon to build these massive distribution centers. And that's why it's cost effective for Amazon to make sure you get your product the next day. So for example, a small mom and pop in your community, there's no possible way they could do that. It's gonna cost them $40 to ship that product to you overnight than what Amazon does. because they have the economies of scale to do that. You know, if you're trying to overnight one product, it's going to cost you $40 to overnight it, right? But now with Amazon Prime, you're able to put 10 items to show up at my house the next day. You know, but again, that all came through. That became a reality through logistics. It became a reality through logistics, through the transportation piece, and then it also became a reality through the distribution centers and how Amazon was able to understand where to build those distribution centers. So within the videos, you're going to see a number of different methods that organizations use to understand, you know, where to locate distribution centers and warehouses. You know, so you know those are some of the things that we consider whenever we work within the supply chain industry, when we start building out and expanding our global footprint. You know, because Amazon's trying to expand in like overseas in like India and China, but Alibaba has different plans. You know, so Amazon's even struggling a little bit with that. So, you know, even Amazon's not not flawless. Even Amazon's not flawless, right? They're experiencing expansion pains themselves. You know, and going to other parts of the world. So we'll see how that works out. So. Any questions, any comments, any concerns on that? Does everybody understand distribution centers and warehouses? If you don't, please let me know. Do you kind of get an understanding of how Amazon's able to do what it does? Yeah? All right, perfect. Because essentially that's all it is. It's very simple when you think about it, right? Okay, we pretty much have everything a customer would ever want, but we just have to get it to them the next day when they ask for it. But the thing is, with the algorithms, with artificial intelligence and machine learning, they have somewhat of an idea of what you want before you want it. That's what the crazy part is. So when you're placing your order, they're looking at these algorithms and they're saying, okay, there's a certain confidence level. I'm geeking out right now. I'm sorry. There's a certain confidence level that this person, based on what she just ordered, there's a certain confidence level she's also going to order this item. And then you order, they say, yep, got that one. Now there's other algorithms that come into play and say, okay, let's keep going. I think that she's going to want this item. She didn't want that one. Okay, let me go back to the drawing board. Let me learn to figure out how he or she will order next time. That's what it's doing behind the scenes, right? And you know, we have that concept of upselling within you know the sales industry, but that's exactly what Amazon is doing with all of us. You know, and it's building in all this data. It's pulling in all this data from social media and outlets like that to better understand what our buying patterns are. Okay, so whenever we briefly spoke about this, last week. But what are the different modes of transportation?
Truck, boat, plane.
What else? There's another one.
Train.
Yep, there you go. What's the benefits and drawbacks of each?
Planes are quick but really expensive.
Exactly. Yep. What else?
The boats are slow, but they're cheaper.
Yes, exactly. What else?
The bigger, the more you can ship.
Yes. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. What else?
I think the truck is kind of the middle of the road, no pun intended there, but because it's decently logistical, but also like fairly price efficient or cost efficient.
So And so what's the deal? What's the deal with the multimodal transportation? Did anybody remember hearing about that?
Can you restate that? Sorry.
What's the deal with the multimodal transportation?
Like you mean like the bus?
Excuse me?
You mean like the bus or what?
It
So-
can be far more effective if you use two different types of transportation the right way, like bus to train, back to bus. Like you can move things a lot quicker.
Yeah, but the thing is, by default, you have to have multimodal transportation. So, for example, if I bring in products from China, they're coming from in most cases they're going to come from ship, right? Via ship, correct? I can't pull a ship up at my factory, right? So there's going to be a multimode transportation. So I'm going to have all these trucks lined up once these ships, port. And they're going to take these containers off of this ship and they're going to drop it on the back of a truck. And those trucks are going out of this port, right? And you'll hear a lot of things referred to as last mile delivery, last mile transportation. That's a hot topic at this given point in time. And especially, my daughter just woke up. So there's another. It's a hot topic, especially in certain industries such as pharmaceuticals, where especially with the vaccine, where last mile delivery, they're actually having drones follow these containers, follow these trucks to make sure there's no funny business going on. So there's a lot of things, there's a lot of considerations that are happening at this given point in time. And going back to the concept of drones, that's one thing that we're talking about in the industry, where drones may be one source of transportation in the near future. There's one thing that I think it was this class where I posted it, where it was a joke, but I think it's in the near future where Amazon had this blimp, right? And it was floating. And all of a sudden the bottom hatch opened up and literally thousands of drones just came out. So they're saying that's the future of transportation. That's the future of deliveries. That's the future of logistics, where you're literally going to have a floating distribution center. And people within that Zeppelin, if you will, within that blimp, are going to be filling orders and attach them to these drones, and then they're going to release the Kraken, and these thousands of drones are just going to come and deliver your products. Now, Amazon's been trying that for a good 6 or 7 years. I think it got derailed because there was one pilot, there was one test where in the UK, Amazon was flying a drone for a package, and then this dog kind of ripped the drone apart, and that's the last we've kind of really heard of it. But Amazon's trying it, UPS and FedEx have tried it, but I think that you're going to get adoption of these drone deliveries in the UK more than you're going to get it earlier than you're going to get it within the US, to be honest. So I would say in the coming years, you're going to hear more about these drone deliveries within supply chain management. Any comments on that one? All right. So also, I mean, that's one thing, and also in terms of drone deliveries, we see the adoption of drones within distribution centers. So within distribution centers, we have a concept where we have, anybody heard of cycle counts? Cycle counts, inventory counts. What's the benefits to that? Because this is more of a logistics function. Anyone heard of that concept?
No, I haven't heard of that.
All right.
work in the pharmacy, and we always have cycle counts for the drugs, like constantly.
Why is that, you think?
Just to make sure we have the correct quantity compared to what the system says we have. Make sure
Yep.
everything's accurate.
Yep, absolutely. That's the reason. And so if we do those counts, if we do those periodic counts, those counts daily, and let's say that we have a huge warehouse or a huge distribution center such as Amazon, and you have these people going up into what we refer to as cherry pickers, about 100 feet in the air. And the only thing that's keeping them from the floor is a piece of string, right? So that's a highly risky product, or highly risky activity. Okay, so we're seeing the introduction of tools such as drones, where drones are going to create safer work environments. So now, those people who actually went into these cherry pickers, if you will, are now being trained as drone pilots, and now they're in safer work environments. They're actually paid more because drone pilots are in high demand within the industry right now. So these guys are getting paid almost double what they were originally getting paid, risking their lives. So that's how technology is being introduced within the industry. And again, that's how it's going to begin to benefit and emerge within the warehousing industry and warehousing and distribution industries, I should say. Okay. Also, you're going to look at the weighted center of gravity method. That's one thing in a video. Yeah, in a video here. So look at that. The weighted center of gravity method is also going to be within the textbook itself. The weighted center of gravity method is one of the tools that will help you to analyze what's the best location to build a distribution center or a manufacturing facility. Okay, so whenever we say, how does Amazon know where to build a DC? They're going to use tools such as the weighted center of gravity method to determine that. Okay. Also, within logistics, there's a number of, I would say that you're going to see an emergence of different tools. Again, I can't stress the emergence of technology enough, because that's what people are talking about. We're saying given that, I think that before the pandemic, it used to cost $800 to get a container from China to the US. $800 a container, roughly. Now with the pandemic, it's costing individuals a minimum of $3,500 to get a container from China to US, right? So because of that cost increase, organizations are saying, okay, this can't be sustainable. We can't sustain this. What can we do? What can we do to get the cost back down? And they're looking at technology, to better forecast, to better position themselves on cost savings initiatives. Now, we all know that we all talk about competition within the industry. We all talk about a competitive advantage in the industry and things like that. But we've seen collaboration with competitors, in this given environment, because we're paying 4 times the price to get our products where most of our suppliers are, to get our products to the US. We got to fill these containers up. And even if you are a competitor, I'm going to collaborate with you to get this full container price. So we've seen a lot of pivoting. We've seen a lot of transition within the supply chain industry, also from a logistics perspective, because we've had a heavy reliance on suppliers from overseas. And now you have a number of organizations that are refocusing their supplier base. I know I said in the one video you watched last week where, yes, we had a supplier base in China, and in February, China was shut down. And then we had to move our supplier base to the US. Then once we moved it to the US, then the US shut down, then we had to go back to China, and you have this seesaw, that was going on for the last year. So I think the proposed outcome was to essentially have a diversify your supplier base, where you have a share of suppliers within the U.S. versus a share of suppliers in China. That's one thing that we're talking about within the industry, and I think that's one thing that you're going to see a lot of organizations transitioning to, because it's my argument that this is not the last. This is not the last of it. This is my opinion. This is my opinion, where I think this is just the beginning of things, of epidemics, hopefully epidemics, that we're going to begin to see in the near future. I know as I said before, I talk a lot about sustainability, and it's my opinion. You may disagree with me. It's my opinion that climate change is real, and as the polar ice caps are beginning to melt, we're going to expose ourselves to diseases that have been locked in the ice, if you will, for thousands of years. And just as with the coronavirus, there's no cure for it, and that's one thing. So include the concern with deforestation and the introduction of these new zoological diseases that we have no cure for. So that's going to not only impact our lives, that's going to impact our supply chains. So that's one thing that we're talking about within the industry. How are we going to be able to create contingency plans for something like this that may occur again? For example, if we're in the same situation that we're in now, and God forbid, an earthquake hit some part of the world, a hurricane hit some part of the world, forest fires hit California. We're already in a disruptive situation, and now we're just compounding on it. The world gets supplied through supply chain management. They get supplied through logistics. We have to develop plans for that, right? And I would say that this discipline is often overlooked, but this discipline keeps the world going. Like I said, if you don't, I can tell people, I say, if you don't believe me, look at Amazon. I say, click the button. I say, click the button right now. Click the button right now, like Julianne did, and say, watch that stuff pop up at your house tomorrow. You don't care how it happens, you just want it to happen. But there's so many things that have to happen for that to happen. And that's what we just talked about. That's where all that comes into play. So whenever you start thinking about logistics, and I said, so Julianne's gonna be a popular person. She's like, yeah, when Julianne hit that button, what are all the things that had to happen for that product to show up at her house? How many individuals had to act upon that simple click of a button for that product to show up at her house? At a massive company like Amazon. I mean, with me, if I think of it like for my house, and I only have like a stack of 10 items, for example. Yeah, that's it. Okay, Julianne clicked the button. Okay, here we go. Done. But if I have 100,000 square foot facility, and Julianne ordered a brush, to me, I'm like, okay, Julianne, you kidding me right now? You kidding me? $3, really? You kidding me? But I still have to deliver it. So now I have to alert someone that they have to go out to this warehouse and find this $3 brush, pack it, and ship it out. And it has to be with her by the next day. Now multiply that by tens of thousands of orders. That's why logistics are so important. Tens of thousands of orders for one facility. Now amplify that by 70 distribution centers in the US. Amazon is literally shipping out millions of orders a day. Literally. Just by it's millions of Julianne button clicks. Millions. And they have to do that process over and over and over and over and over and over again and get it right almost every single time. That's why it's so important. And Amazon has become the largest organization because they're able to find a way to make that flawless every single time. And to me, that's mind blowing. You know, I mean, I know we all probably have said, well, Amazon messed up more last week. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. But they also sent about 15 million of your orders just like yours last week as well. So if they got one wrong out of 15 million, that's pretty impressive. You know.
And they
So,
also managed to have like extremely exceptional customer service, which I think is also a huge, great representation of their brand.
yeah, absolutely. It's like
They fix things like this, and the errors, they kind of just let you have things because their like business is so good that errors are fine on their part almost.
Yeah. And the thing is that people bash Amazon from a sustainability perspective. People bash Amazon to say, oh well, they're telling people to keep their products. I'm one of them too, who used to do that too. People bash Amazon for telling customers to keep their products. Think about it. I have to use a box to ship that product back. Okay. Now Amazon has to open that box, right? Has to open that packaging, has to find new packaging to put it away, has to find more packaging to ship it right back out. That makes no sense. So let the customer keep it, right? So again, when you're the largest organization, people are going to try to come for you for like the smallest things. And if you try to Google Amazon, there's not that much bad publicity for Amazon. There's bad publicity for every single organization, every single one, right? Because you have haters. It's human nature. It's human nature. But you have not really heard of any, in my opinion, you have not really heard of any bad publicity as successful as Amazon is. Right? Now you're going to see some publicity about some Amazon suppliers having like child labor and slave labor and things like that. But I don't think it was this class. No, it was another class. So, but if you have Amazon that has literally hundreds and thousands of suppliers, how do you think Bezos can track that? It's impossible. It is absolutely impossible. But of course, somebody's going to say something about it. So, you know, that's one thing we deal with. That's one thing we work with from a supply chain perspective. And again, like Sophia said, you have exceptional customer service, you know, and you're not going to be a fan of every single person, you know. So I'm not for every single person in this class, right? So it's like you have your you know your brands and things like that, you know. So, and some people hate Amazon just because they're so massive, you know, or because they had one bad experience. I had a bad experience with Amazon too, but I still love them. Right? Because it's so convenient, you know, like Sophia said. So anything else you want to add, Sophia?
What'd you say?
Anything else you want to add?
No, it was just a good, I just relate to you. I've had bad packages too, but I'm fine with keeping the product, you know?
Yeah, you're gonna still click it. You're gonna still click that button like Julianne did.
Yeah, and it's a good point. I didn't think about the packaging necessarily. Like that does really that consumes a lot of material.
Exactly. And think about the number of returns that come back for Amazon. That is nuts. That's nuts. If everybody returned packages, that would be absolutely crazy. So Ethan, you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask your opinion on something. A lot of the times, Amazon gets accused of poor working conditions and all that, and I know they constantly try to go against unions. Like they try to dismantle any union that could possibly come up in anywhere in their organization. And I was just wondering, like, how would a supply chain manager really look in unions? Is that kind of like a necessary evil for them, or is it like how would they look at it?
I've been a part of unions. I haven't been a part of unions. I've been in environments. I've consulted for organizations that had unions, is what I'm saying, what I'm getting to, right? I think that, in my opinion, I think that type of environment is going away. That's like a old school approach, so, and Bezos actually fired those guys, I think. The ones that tried to form a union, I think Bezos fired them, to be honest. But that's what I heard. I don't know the truth in that, but that's what I've seen in a post. But I think that so for the one union I work with, I actually got called in. I called in 24 hours. I called in for that organization, and they said, we tried to self-implement this ERP application, and every time we try to roll it out, these people bust out the desktops. And it's a union, so nobody's going to say who did it. They know who did it, but nobody said who did it. But it was as simple as me going into each organization, going into each department, and outlining what are we doing with this implementation, and it's going to take them to actually implement it, and it's going to positively impact their jobs in this way. And we need that person to actually make this happen. So, for example, all these people in this union, they were paid on piece rate. So based on, they made like Purelator cans, for example, right? So like a can for like Purelators and filters and things like that. So they got paid based on how many of these things they stamped out, right? A day of their job. So I just simply asked them, I said, okay, how many of these things you stamp out a day? Well, I'll stamp out this many, but then I have to walk, across the plant to report how many I did. And it takes about 45 minutes. Once I go over there and speak to my buddies and, do this and have a cigarette and things like that. Okay. What if I put this kiosk up here where all you had to do was just stamp out everything, turn around, type it in, hit enter, and you keep stamping all day. I said, now you're able to spend another hour and a half making money. Now multiply that by 5 days a week. Oh, I never thought of it that way. Exactly. And I was able to get adoption within that organization in about 2 weeks. I'm showing them how they're able to make more money. Right? So I think that, but again, that was a small manufacturer. It's probably a different world than Amazon. But all those people want to do is just be acknowledged and be respected and be empowered. That's all those unions want. That's all they want. So I would say if people were trying to form unions and Bezos would go in and understand why they're trying to form these unions, those things would go away. And I think that, and again, this is from my experience. As this is from my experience in working with manufacturers. I think that's a thing of the past, to be honest. That answer your question?
You mean unions as a whole, like unions are going to cease to exist?
That's my opinion. But
is that for better or worse?
I'd say it's for better.
Okay, because I know that a lot of people debate that unions are basically just monopolizing their own labor in a sense.
That's exactly what they're doing.
It doesn't sound that bad.
Huh?
Doesn't really sound that bad to me. You know what I mean? Like they're just trying to represent themselves. But if it comes to a point where it's like, we're going to have workers being treated terribly and then still have maximum profit margins, I think it's just better to treat the workers better.
No, but the whole concept of social responsibility and sustainability is going to expose these organizations that still act unethically, right? So it's my argument that, now I might be biased because I do a lot of stuff on sustainability. It's my argument that that's going to have more of a positive impact and more of a benefit to these employees than them trying to form unions, because you have more backing to kind of back this sustainability and equality and things like that. You know, fair wages, because that's one of the SDGs. That's one of the UN SDGs. You're gonna have more backing in playing it that way than playing that game than trying to play this union game. This union game never, in my opinion, this union game never ends well. Again, people argue with me, but look at the history. You know, and again, that union is centralized within that one organization, right? Or within that union group. But if you talk about sustainability, now you have visibility around the world. Now you have more support around the world, because now you're in that equal pay bucket from a sustainability perspective. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. But me personally, I just don't trust corporations at all, to be honest with
I
you.
don't trust corporations. I don't trust corporations either.
I don't
That's
see
why
why they would have an incentive to treat people better unless they have like a fire under their ass or something, which is like kind of what a union is, in my opinion.
They're getting that fire now, and it's coming from me. Like I say, I'm being dead serious. So you can go on YouTube right now, type in my name, and you can see these conferences I speak at. That's why I say at these conferences. I say there's a lot of greenwashing in the industry. I say I worked in the supply chain industry for years. I've seen the good, bad, and unethical. And I say that there needs to be transparency within the supply chain industry. And I say that if you don't, like for example, blockchain, I say if you don't start using these tools to make your supply chains transparent, what are you hiding? And I say that you guys, the Gen Zs, the millennials, you all are doing your research. You're doing your research before you start dropping money in these organizations. You're dropping money in Patagonias before you're dropping money in some Fashion Nova, hypothetically. But work with here. But that's where this is going. That's what I'm explaining to these organizations. And it's just not for ethical practices, and it's just not for greenwashing. It's just not for modern slavery. With me, it's coming for diversity and inclusion too. And first off, like I said before, diversity and inclusion is more than race. You know, it's different backgrounds, it's different genders, it's different religions. I say people are freaking tagging the heck out of me right now because it's Black History Month. I said, don't tag me. Do not tag me. We ain't cool. Don't tag me just because I'm a professor at Penn State. Don't do it. You're social washing, and I will expose you. You don't want that. But that's the problem. That's the problem. You know, so and again, I'm exposing people. I posted something regardless of your affiliation. I'm just sharing my thoughts. I posted something on last Thursday because Biden said he's moving to electric vehicles. You know, and then this individual how am I getting trolled on LinkedIn? So this individual said this is not sustainable if you're still 15 billion in debt. Just by moving to electric vehicles. I was about to say this is LinkedIn, not Parler. But the thing is, you don't want that heat. But again, it's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. And I'm sorry if I offended people, but I get heated on these conversations. My apologies.
I like the heat. It's good.
Because I bring it. All right. Anything else?
I have like an off-topic question.
Yeah.
I just like checked the LinkedIn for like for this week, and it's the same link as it was last week.
All right. Thanks. I'll update that. I might just get rid of it. Oh man. The link, oh, LinkedIn Learning? LinkedIn Learning, you say?
Yeah, I looked at it too. It's the same course.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take that down. I'll take that down because we have a discussion this week. You have a discussion this week, and then if you wanted to do that extra credit assignment, you could do that. And then you have to read the chapter. All right. So we have a we have a quiz exam coming up. I don't know if I'm gonna push it a week or not, because I have someone that actually reached out to me. So again, I have that LinkedIn link in that. So I put this supply and demand chain. I know I'm going over. So if you have to drop, you can drop. Sorry. I did that twice today, but I put this link within supply and demand chain executive. Sign up for it. You'll get extra credit. That's Wednesday at noon. And again, I think that, so I know that Zach said that he couldn't make it because he was working. But if you can't make it, I think that it will replay. LinkedIn Learning normally replays. So Cynthia Corsetti, she actually reached out to me last Wednesday, and she actually has asked to come and speak to you all. So come speak to students. She is an executive coach. She works with a lot of people in the industry who need assistance in getting jobs and things like that. So she wants to come speak with you all and just to give you the real deal, the skinny. I mean, I hopefully by now you know that I am very transparent. I tell it like it is, and I told her, I said, I'm trying to tell these students to, it's you have to start, kind of building your brand right now. I said, I need somebody else to tell them their views. They're not listening to me. But so maybe she's either going to come in next week or the week after on that. So to share her thoughts and get you all prepared and get you all, give you insight into the industry and, make you successful. Because that is my ultimate goal. I am not here to have you do assignments for the sake of doing assignments. I want you to understand this content. I want you to have a conversation. I want you to ask questions exactly like you ask questions today. I want you to be able to tie this content to what's going on in the world. I want you to ask your questions just like the unions. You hear unions, but you need to get different perspectives. I have a different perspective than what other people have, but I was on the other end of unions. But you know what? I was trying to collaborate with the unions. I was working with the unions. I didn't say, oh, unions are terrible. No, I was working with them. And we got adoption.
I was gonna say, like, I used to work at this pharmacy, and I was just like a stock boy, nothing crazy. And they made me join their union. And for me personally, I did not like it. Like, they took out like $25.
Exactly. It's a money racket.
Yeah. And it was just like at the time, I was like 17, 18. No, sorry, I was 18, and I was only making like $8 an hour. So I was just I was giving a lot of my paycheck to the union, and I never needed them once because I did,
Exactly. So, everything's a business. Everything's about money. And that's how I want you to look at things. That's the lens I want you all to look through. Like I said, you can drop if you want. That's the lens I want you all to look through whenever you're going through these businesses, because most of these things say they're going to help you. They're nothing but a money racket. That's all it is. Right. And that's another thing that I've been doing, where I've been asked to join a number of different boards over the last year or so. And first thing I do is I say, I'm not going to be the only minority here. I said, first off, if I'm the only minority here, only way you're going to get me if I bring somebody else with me. That's the only way. The only way. Because I bring my people with me. Right. And again, they want a social wash. They want a blackface on a board and say, oh, look, we have minority leadership. No. Okay. Well, you got me. You're gonna get me. If you get me, you're gonna get somebody else. and every single time at work. So like I said, and whenever you have that, whenever you start building your organizations, a diverse leadership, a diverse board is going to lead to a competitive advantage. And that's why I explain to these people. And that's why they want me to come on these boards. That's the way I see things. Right? So anything else? Any other comments? I know we're going over. My fault. Anything else? All right. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Again, look at those announcements. There's 2 extra credit opportunities. There's 2 extra credit opportunities that are there. I also was contacted by UP. So UP has an APICS, or Association of Supply Chain Management group that they're looking for people to join. This week, as a matter of fact, I interviewed the Association of Supply Chain Management CEO, Abe Ashkenazi, a while back when I was working at Georgetown. So actually that is this week's discussion, where I interviewed Abe Ashkenazi, and he's going to give his insight in terms of the industry, the supply chain industry. So look at that. Let me know if you have any other questions. As I said before, anything that you want to talk about, anything you have a question on, just send me a text. We'll hop on the phone. We'll talk about it. Like I said, that's what I'm here for. I am human just like you are. I am flattered whenever people text me and want to talk about things like this. I'm sick, so I love talking about this stuff. And I'll also say, most importantly, if you're interested in a certain discipline, I know people from everywhere. So if you have interest in certain industries, I probably could help you out and be successful in those areas. All right. So have no more questions, you can drop. I'll hang out if people have questions. Thanks.
Thank you.
And sorry for going over. Sorry.
Have a good
Professor,
one.
Is there an exam next week? And if so, do we have to print something out ahead of time?
No exam next week. I'm probably going to bring in Cynthia next week.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So because I didn't mention an exam, so we're not going to have one. That's for sure.
Thank you.
One more question. Do we have the same yesterday we did on the LinkedIn, we did a download and the certificate with Cement. So do we do the quizzes again or what?
No, I'm about to hide that one. You already done that one, so I'm about to hide it.
Which one, for the quizzes or just for the certificate?
The certificate. So the certificate that's for this week, I'm about to hide that one because you already did it.
Yeah, I did it for the certificate, but when I look at the quizzes and the test, I don't take them. That's why I think like what's going on,
Mm-hmm. Wait a second. Say it again.
When I tried to do for the certificate, I did everything. I listened and I got the quizzes, everything. But when you look it down at the bottom, test and the quiz, it show you like I don't take them. That's why I'm trying to ask you. That's for next week or for this week?
It was for this week. So so for this week, so what did you do for the certificate? For yesterday.
Yeah, I did yesterday. Yep.
So you submitted that certificate?
Yes.
Okay, so you're good. You're done.
Okay. I don't have to worry about the quizzes when I look at.
No, if you have a certificate, you're good.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
But one more question, I'm sorry. When you return your stuff to Amazon, when you follow the GPS, like when they return your money back, do you know what is your opinion like with the supply management, supply chain management? What's it will be effective between that?
What do you mean though?
Like, for example, I have to return, I order something stuff, my book, for example, when I try and return them, when they're supposed to return my money back to my bank account.
Yeah, so Amazon pretty much Amazon sends you an email with the shipping label, right? The return
Yes.
label for that book, correct?
Yes.
So Amazon is going, so once you put that in the mail, Amazon has an alert in their system. It's an automation actually in the system that says once this particular tracking number, if you will, that's attached to your account has a status of received from Amazon. There's an alert, there's automations set up in the system that says once this thing says received. And there may be an additional step that says, okay, once you have confirmed, once Amazon has confirmed that that particular product is correct, like, so once they hit confirm, that automation, that's whenever it goes back into your account. So all that process is automated.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Yeah, I mean, I have a question. My camera's on. I'm on my phone. But from our first week's discussion, I've been like kind of like stuck on your whole polka dot thing that you had going on that you opened a business about.
Yeah.
And because I got done my software engineering, I did a boot camp, from Thinkful. Yeah. I was trying to figure out exactly what you were looking for. Were you looking for like engineers for like crypto, or because I really think that, you know, I was doing crypto when I was still in the Marine Corps like a few years back, a little bit like before like Bitcoin like shot up like crazy. And I do think that crypto is like the next, like, you know, generation. Like it's going to be, how you saying, is like it's going to be crazy. It's not going to be like paper currency, things like that, just because it's so trackable. And yeah, but you said that you were looking for somebody, and I really have, like, it's not like, I don't think it's like a dying passion, but it's definitely something that I'm really interested in.
You have a dying passion for what though? Because I'm not doing crypto. I'm not dealing with no regular.
You're staying on the supply chain side.
Yeah,
supply chain side, trying to, you know, track it. But it's more of I think more of, like, I guess how you feel, the capabilities of it, more of that, not just like the mining and all of that, you know, and the, you know, the cat market and everything, but it's more of what it can turn out to be, not just what it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.